eo ipso versus ipso facto. Are these entirely interchangeable? Or is there sometimes reason to use one but not the other? Other than, as one website says, to use eo ipso rather than ipso facto if you really want to be pretentious and obscure. Wiktionary says eo ipso equals through or by that very act or quality thereby. Ipso facto equals by that very fact itself. I came across eo ipso in this sentence. It is one thing to say that I know what is good for X, while he himself does not, and even to ignore his wishes for its and his sake, and a very different one to say that he has eo ipso chosen it, not indeed consciously, not as he seems in everyday life, but in his role as a rational self which his empirical self may not know, the real self which discerns the good, and cannot help choosing it once it is revealed.
Ipso facto would not make sense in your example, as there is no fact referred to. Eo ipso there means in or by himself, which does make sense with the qualification in the next clause. Eo ipso is not a phrase to be recommended, unless you are writing abstruse philosophy, in which case you need a considerably greater command of the language than a website can help with. On the whole, I would avoid it praeter necessitatem.
I believe eo ipso and ipso facto are in general the same, but there is a distinction. The former has a broader meaning, the latter is bound to a fact. And in law, each is contrasted, for instance, to ipso iure and ex lege dot.
Eo ipso, meaning in itself, has a greater implication than ipso facto. Eo ipso implies a state without external influence, as a noumenon. Ipso facto implies a state dependent on external influence, as a phenomenon. I'm using Kantian language here because the concept of eo ipso is most obviously similar to the Kantian noumenon.
If you want to avoid that, please consider liking and subscribing.